On October 8, 1871, a fire started in a Chicago barn and burned for 3 days, destroying one-third of the city, killing 300 people, leaving 100,000 homeless, and creating $200 million in damage, all allegedly started by a cow kicking over a lantern. Before we continue, would you mind liking this video and subscribing to our channel? Now, let's discover how one small fire became America's most devastating urban disaster. Chicago in 1871 was a booming city of 300,000 people, but it was a tinderbox waiting to ignite. Most buildings were wooden, including sidewalks and streets. The summer had been extremely dry with almost no rain for months. On October 8th at 9 p.m., a fire started in the O'Leary family barn on the city's southwest side. Legend claims Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over a lantern, though this was never proven and was likely anti-Irish propaganda. The fire spread quickly. Strong southwest winds reaching 30-mile-per-hour pushed flames toward the city center. Wooden buildings ignited instantly. Within hours, the fire was completely out of control, creating its own wind system through convection. Chicago's fire department was exhausted from fighting a large fire the previous night. Equipment was in poor condition. Water pressure was inadequate. The wooden water pipes themselves caught fire, making firefighting impossible. Here's how catastrophic it became. The fire jumped the Chicago River, thought to be a natural fire break. Burning embers carried by wind ignited buildings on the other side. The downtown business district was quickly engulfed. The fire created a phenomenon called a firestorm, winds so intense they uprooted trees and lifted burning debris high into the air. The roar was deafening. Temperatures reached over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt metal and stone. Panicked residents fled with whatever they could carry. Streets became gridlocked with wagons, carriages, and people on foot. Some jumped into Lake Michigan to escape the flames. Others were trapped and burned alive in their homes. The fire burned for 3 full days, October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It finally stopped when rain began falling and winds shifted. Plus, the fire reached areas already burned or natural barriers like Lake Michigan. The destruction was staggering. Over 17,000 buildings destroyed, covering 3.3 square miles of the city. Approximately 300 people died, though the true number was likely higher. 100,000 people, one-third of the population, were left homeless. Financial losses reached $200 million in 1871, equivalent to over $4 billion today. Chicago's downtown, including banks, hotels, theaters, and government buildings, was completely destroyed. But Chicago rebuilt quickly. Within 2 years, the city had reconstructed most destroyed areas. New buildings used brick, stone, and steel instead of wood. Modern fire codes and building regulations were established. The Great Chicago Fire led to improvements in urban planning, fire safety, and building codes nationwide. Chicago emerged stronger, becoming one of America's greatest cities. Interestingly, the same night Chicago burned, the deadliest fire in U.S. history, the Peshtigo Fire, killed over 2,500 people in Wisconsin. But it happened in a rural area and was completely overshadowed by Chicago's disaster. That's your ultimate history knowledge bomb. If this devastating fire shocked you, smash that like button. Subscribe to 3 Min Knowledge for more catastrophic urban disasters.